Welcome back to another video. My name is Florian Kohler. I'm also known as Venom. As you know, I'm a professional pool trick shot artist, but I'm also a league operator for APA in Las Vegas. In this episode today, we're gonna cover how to go from a 3 to a 4. So let's get into it. Robin stated the following: practice using the ghost ball. Again, this is pretty much right. So previous lesson, we covered all the fundamentals. So really what comes naturally after is the aiming. And honestly, the ghost ball is a pretty good method, especially on smaller tables such as this, which is a 7-foot table. So what is the ghost ball method? Well, we're going to have the 8 ball here and the cue ball there, so pretty simple shot, just trying to make the 8 in the corner. And I'm going to grab the 7 ball. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the center of my pocket here into the center of the 8 ball, into the center of the 7. Here we go. So as you can see, that makes a perfect straight line. And what happens is basically my 7 is actually my ghost ball. So the idea of the ghost ball is for the cue ball to replace the 7 in order to make the 8, right? So technically, if I replaced my cue ball right there, so it's going to shoot like this. I'm going to replace the 7, then I know I'm going to make the 8 ball, right? Now, obviously, this shot is pretty easy, straight up. But what happens if you go like here, right? Well, same concept. So now, I'm going to have my cue ball here into my 8 ball, but that's a much harder shot. Again, all I got to do is go here, center my cue, center pocket, center of the 8, center of the 7. And then this time I'm going to go this way, line it up, and here you go. That would be the perfect aiming spot. So that's a good method. It works really well, especially if you have a friend. So if you have one of your teammates with you, what you can do when you start is set the ball like this, then get in position, try to replace the 7, and in the last minutes, one of your friends just take this ball away, and then you shoot, and you're going to see that this ball is going to go pretty much every time. Again, this works on an easy shot, also works on a very difficult shot. This is pretty much the ghost ball method. Next aspect to cover is Cubo Control. There are so many comments on Facebook about the Cubo Control, couldn't just pick one, so let me just go ahead and explain you what I think about it, and at least how I see it helping you going from a 3 to a 4. We're going to use simply a red ball here, but before we go into what's going to happen to the red ball, let's talk about the cue ball itself and how to measure stuff around it. So as you know, a lot of time we talk about the clock system. So if you take a watch, you put it right next to your cue ball. This is exactly the same thing you're going to do. So this would be 12, 6, 3, 9, and of course you have all the numbers in between around as well, right? So this is one aspect of it. Then the next aspect is on the cue ball itself. That would be the center of your cue ball, right? Then you can do one tip below, one tip above, one tip on the left, one tip on the right. And sometimes you can go up to 2 tips or even more. Granted that, again, as a skill level 3, you don't want to go too far away from the center of your cue ball, and especially not in the side spin. We'll explain to you a little bit later why so, but at this moment, that's all you got to know. So for the rest of the cue ball, so if obviously the ball is straight in like this, we're going to talk about how to move that cue ball on that straight line, right? So one of the best shot in pool, and actually one of the most useful one, is what we call the stop shot. So stop shot is basically a tip below center, sometimes a little less. It depends your stroke. Here's what I'm going to do. There. So this is stop shot. As you can see, my cue ball stops behind the red ball that was right here, right? Now, this is a very useful shot. Makes for a very clean hit and a very clean pocketing usually. So I like to use stop shot as much as possible. Now, a lot of time, the next ball is not going to be just for a stop shot, so you're going to have to move it forward. This is where the follow shot comes in. This one I'm going to hit again on the same vertical line in the middle, but I'm going to hit top. This one I'm going to be a tip, maybe a tip and a half above the center. And all I'm going to do is scratch in the side pocket. Now that we've covered the follow, let's talk about draw. So draw, as you guessed, it's basically the same thing, but this time we're going to bring the cue ball backwards, right? So ideally on this line, same thing. I'm going to start in the vertical middle there, and then just go a tip below center. There you go, and you can see my cue ball is coming straight back to me. Now, again, even though I don't necessarily want you to start playing with the side spin a lot as a skill level 3, we're going to explain you what it is. That way you have it in your skill bag here. So left spin, again, you're on this line here, you're not doing this, you're actually just moving your cue up a little bit. So you're just moving it sideways here. Here we go. So I'm a tip on the left of the cue ball here. As you can see, all it does is the cue will spin in a way here on the left, and then if I hit this with right spin, my cue ball is simply going to spin the other way around, and I'm going to shoot it. Again, remember, it's not this, it's but and there. There we go. So now that you have top, bottom, left, and right, the key to actually a good cue ball control is being able to combine them as much as possible. Again, we're going to use this red ball right here. And let's pretend you have a ball somewhere there for your next ball. You could hit it with just stop, like this. But as you can see, the ball is just going further. So maybe, it's not that great of a shot. You're a little too far. Now, you could have hit it with a stop shot and stayed there. Probably a better shot, right? Even if you had to come back with a draw, it would have brought you here. Now, what you could also do, sometimes there's obstacle here. We don't have to go into the details again too much in here. But let's pretend we have to hit it with a follow shot. We don't have a choice. But we know that with a follow, it's pretty hard. The ball is going to kind of want to stay there. So, however, if I did that with top left, the left spin is going to help to develop after the rail to go back into the middle of the table here. So let me show you that. And here you go. So that's how you combine all those spins to use them to advantage, to control the cue ball as much as possible for your next ball. And that's really what's going to take your game to the next level. Let me just give you a few more tips on how, in my opinion, you're going to go from a 3 to a 4. First off, safety. Start thinking safeties now. Do they have to be perfect? Not really. Just live a long shot. Live a shot that you know for yourself you wouldn't want to shoot. And that's really, just a good way to go along for that. Pocket speed is super important. I see that a lot. If you shoot this ball, if you shoot it hard, it's just going to bounce off, and that's it, Now, if you shoot it soft like this, you can see the ball is going to be accepted a lot better. So especially on a 7-foot table, take advantage of that. It's really important. Pocket speed is key. As far as timeout goes, as a skill level 3, you got 2 timeouts. Take advantage of that. I mean, why not? Especially if you like the team you're playing on, if the captain is very experienced, if they have a high skill level player in there, don't hesitate to ask. They'll know how you play, they'll guide you through and make you play the right shot, so don't be scared. As far as not being scared, also don't be scared to play higher player. The handicap system for APA is made for that. How many times do I see all those 2s and 3, they're afraid of playing the 9s, but they don't realize that actually a skill level 9's got to go to 75 ball. It's very difficult. And I cannot tell you how many times I see them losing, so don't be scared. The handicap is made for that. And then lastly, I think pretty much play simple but efficient. As a skill level 3, we're not asking you to go and do a 3-rail draw. We're simply asking you to move the cue ball in a favorable position for your next ball. So little by little, nothing extravagant, but you will get there. And all those little things put together, I guarantee you will bring you to the next level. Here's a nice drill to improve your cue ball control. I got that one from my good friend Ralph Eckert from Germany, who is one of the best instructors in the world, and this is really going to help your game tremendously and truly put you to the next skill level. So you're going to need 10 balls. I have them in order here, 1 to 10. And this is kind of a combination of a zone drill and an aiming drill, right? So every zone is going to be defined by a diamond here. So this is going to be to zone 1. The middle of the pocket here to the first diamond. Then we're going to have zone 2, zone 3. Zone 4 is going to be here without touching the rail. Zone 5, touching the rail. 6, 7, and 8, right? So you technically have 8 zones for 10 balls, so you have a little bit of room to spare. The concept is to try to hit this cue ball into the 1. 1 goes in the corner, land my cue ball there. I'm going to repeat the process with the 2 ball. Shoot the 2, get my cue ball to land into zone number 2. Then zone number 3. And I'm going to repeat that over and over. If you miss a ball, you're simply going to take it out of there, put it in the middle, make sure you account for the misses because it also counts for aiming. And then if you make the ball but miss the zones, you simply go, move on to the next one, and try the same zone again. Remember, you got ball in hand behind that line here every time, every ball. After you pass the middle, instead of going on the left corner, you're going to go on the right corner, and that's pretty much it. It's a very simple drill, very efficient, and truly, if you keep score out of it in between the balls missed and the zone made, it's really going to improve your game tremendously. Now, this is for follow. The same exact drill goes for draw when you're going to go backward, but I would strongly encourage you to start with follow. So let me just demonstrate a few shots here, but honestly, it is a pretty simple concept. All right, so I'm already in zone 2. Now we're going to move in zone 3. There we go. And we're just going to keep going this way. Okay, so the zone is no good. I'm supposed to be here. This is good. Not the same touching the rail, but I'm going to move on the other side. That's good. Then we're going to move into the second one. That's perfect. Next. It's good enough. We got one last zone here. Oh, that one is too far. So got one more chance to finish the drill. Very close. That's it for today, guys. Thanks again to everyone who submitted their comments. We truly enjoyed them. I really hope this was useful, and I cannot wait to see you for another video. Later, everybody.